afternoon. We are live at Spring Lake, the Meadows Center for the Environment, here on the campus of Texas State University, where we are beginning the safety meeting, the race briefing, for the 60th annual Texas Water Safari. Mason, I thought you were here. If anybody's on, can you hear? I just would love a feedback to make sure you can hear. And we're going to be getting going here in just a moment. So thank you for joining us. We will be making this video stream available on the YouTube channel afterwards. Hey, Roy, I see that you're watching. Can you hear us okay? If at any point someone on the live stream you can't hear, please let us know. We'll make sure they're talking into the microphone. So thank you for tuning in, and they're getting out a few awards, and then we'll be going on. So, okay, and if you have any questions, I'll try to answer those. Audio was good. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate that. Thanks, Roy. Okay, all right, well, we're going to get this show started. The live stream is on and going. Alan. Okay, thank you for tuning in, and they are turning on the microphone, and welcome to the race briefing.
All right, it looks like we have everybody here. I want to welcome everybody to the 60th running of the Texas Water Safari, the world's toughest canoe race. As most of y'all know, it's another big year. We had a record year for our 50th at 178 teams entered, and this year we have 161 entered. Officially, 7 teams have already dropped out. As typical, they show up, they rethink things. Maybe next year. So anticipate a couple more. Once they get taking their boat down to Spring Lake, they usually will come back up. So, but also this race is very important, to all of us that are still racing, we're still involved with it. And every year I'd like to recognize those racers that have passed away in this last year. I'm sure they will all be with us on the river, and I'd like to mention Dennis Borowitz passed away. Mr. and Mrs. Luling, it is now Mr. Luling. Chuck is still here and will handle the Luling checkpoint for the 30th straight year. Chuck, are you around? There he is, right there. So he's going to keep on plugging along and keep the streak alive. We also have a pretty high performance caliber racer, Nick Walton, who passed away in a race as well this year. Tommy Prohaska of the Prohaska brothers, Sammy, Johnny, and Tommy all did the race for a number of years back in the 80s and 90s. And then, one of my favorites of mine, Kent Messler also passed away. And I believe Frank is here. Frank, you want to come on up? Frank would like to say a couple of words about his dad.
Hi, everyone. So, my dad loved the water safari people. He said there was nothing better when it comes to people. There wasn't someone that was willing to torture themselves, but then still willing to tell anyone how to do it successfully, which is a testament to the people you are all around now. So any newbies around here, you're in good company. So I want to just tell a quick little story about what kind of epitomized my dad, and also has some words of wisdom that he imparted on me, which you can take it for what it is. But when we did our race in 2004, I think, it got postponed till mid-July, so it's really hot, and we got down to checkpoint Pass Gonzales, and I was in the front of the boat, and I wasn't feeling really good, and we stopped at the checkpoint, and my dad kind of pretty much told me, hey, you need to get some food. The official at Gonzales was looking at you a little bit, and we need to get you to eat something. So in my being a novice, I had like a Chef Boyardee little microwavable meal. And he goes, here, eat this real quick because I'm not packing this down to Seadrift. And so I chugged it down, shoveled it in, and about a minute later, he goes, all right, get in the boat. And I just looked at him, and I was like, okay, I'll get in the boat. And then we got in the boat, and he goes, okay, don't do anything till we make the bend. And I must have been green or whatever. I don't know what it was, but we made the bend, and he goes, okay, go ahead. And there it went.
Of those 348
Okay,
racers,
we're back, everyone.
we
Sorry about
had
that.
47 females. All right, guys, we outnumber them. 301 males. 14 teams with all members being from out of state. Welcome to Texas. We have a total of 28 states represented here. From Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, Utah, Washington, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Alabama, Mississippi, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Carolina, California, Arkansas, Colorado, Michigan, Massachusetts, Tennessee, and Arizona. And I'm sure I missed a couple of them. But we also have 3 countries represented: Brazil, Italy, and Chile. Our boat classes, we've got 12 in aluminum. Real man's division and woman. Mixed tandem unlimited, we have 7. Novice is always competitive. We have 26 teams. Novice women, all they got to do is finish 1. Solo unlimited, looking to be one of the most competitive. We have 28 teams, men's. And in solo unlimited women's, we have 5.
Wow.
Standard boat, we have 6 teams, tandem unlimited 19, tandem unlimited women 3, and unlimited, typically racing for the overall, we have 36 teams. And unlimited women, we have 7, USCA C1 men, and USCA C1 women, and men's we have 7, and women we have 1. Probably the toughest division, physically, mentally to finish. And in USCA C2 we have 8. So it looks like a really competitive year. Some great races are going to be out there. Looking forward to following everybody down the river. As always, y'all seem to get really creative with your boat names. We have, I believe it's the Yonley boat, brother versus brother. I hope it's in unison, not against each other. We also have Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying. We have Tough Love, which is a father-daughter team. I don't know if I could do that. We have a solo woman. Her boat's called Spicy. We have Paddling Paradise. I think they've entered in the wrong race. Raised on the River, which is appropriate because that's Molly Binion and Lily Jones. Still got your hat? I think I've heard that a few times from people in the boats. We have the Polecat and Possum Belly, as always. Lady in Charge, Kristen Daniels' boat. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I've been afraid to ask which one is the ugly. We have Slow Ride. And a good play on words, instead of for God's sake, for Gwad's sake. I guess that's your goal. Let's get to the Gwad. 2 women, good boat, Victoria's Secrets. Not This Again. And then last year, and they're back again, Usain Boat. Soggy Bottom Boys, Batman in a Bathtub. Yeah. And I guess it's a play on the song, Seasons in the Sun. And then Stroke This. And then my favorite one, and it's appropriate for this race, No Sleep Till Seadrift. So, all right. I'd also like to give a special thanks to some people who really allow us to have the race here. And it's the Meadows Center has been gracious over the years, working with us, even through the COVID pandemic and all of that, to be able for us to hold the race and keep continuing going on. The former director, executive director, Andy Sansom, is here right there in the Aggie shirt. We also have here, who's not here today, but Carrie Thompson is the director of operations. And I want to give a really big shout out to Miranda Waite. Not only is she a team captain, but she also is the director of education here. And she makes all this work for us. And so she is outstanding, and we couldn't do it without Miranda. And the person who oversees all of that is Dr. Mace. And I'd like Dr. Mace to say a few words real quick.
Well, welcome to beautiful here at on this site with these wonderful people. Just want to leave you with a few little share. There's Evan today, and I was like, hey, what are y'all finding? Like, we found some stone tools mixed in with beer top pull tabs. And I'm like, you know, I think these indigenous people were probably pretty cool. You grind corn, have a few brewskis, and yeah, basically it's like it's fill over there, and they're digging their way down to the real stuff. But so just really, really neat place, I think, as you all know. Y'all, those of you that are local know that we've been suffering from a pretty dang good drought. Really, we're coming out of 3 years of drought conditions. Earlier, like a month ago, spring flows here were the lowest they've been since 1957, which was the drought of record. I just looked a little bit ago, we're at 100 cubic feet per second. We really should be somewhere at 160-200 for normal conditions. But they're still flowing, which is good news. There's a number of things that we do here on water and the environment, and of course, you know, we steward the lake and the river, take care of the endangered species, you know, keep this place a beautiful place. Work on policy initiatives to, you know, keep the water that we have in the river, both here and across the state. Helping Texans use water more efficiently to ensure we meet our needs going forward in the future, while at the same time protecting the environment. So you can always check out our website and see what it is that we're doing. Today was the first day I felt like summer. We've had an amazing spring, mild spring, but yeah, I walked out of a meeting in the building about noon. I was just like, holy cow, it is hot out. So it does look like we're going to be flirting, y'all will be flirting with, because I'm going to be in the AC, you know, watching the app, flirting with, 100-degree weather. So make sure you stay hydrated and take care of yourself. Make sure you have those Marlboros to keep going, the Debbie treats. So I wish you all the best. I'll be here tomorrow to see you all off. Came last year and just had a rip-roaring good time. The energy is great. It's a lot of fun seeing everybody enjoying the lake, and just, you know, always think about where the water comes from, how it gets there, and what you and your family can do to make sure we keep having this water in our river and our spring. Thank you very much.
All right, this race wouldn't be possible without some of our sponsors. Bob Spain's just going to mention a few of those.
Okay, the small sign over here that you can't see too well, you can look at it afterwards, lists all those folks, not only are those on the t-shirt, but also others that have contributed. But I want to just mention a few here who we couldn't do it without them. Our major executive sponsor is the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority. Every year they help us not only with access to the river, but also provide some good swag, these waterproof bags up here that they gave, and they contribute financially to make this race possible. Without them and their help, we couldn't put it on. We also are appreciative of Smith Industries. I don't know if David Smith is here today. I think he may be here tomorrow. They're one of our major sponsors, and they've been for about 20-something years. The San Marcos River Convention and Visitors Bureau, who they were here earlier, is also a major sponsor of the race, and also the City of Junction. And there's a flyer behind us, or maybe it's over there. They have a big race that's, you need to train for this one. You have to go upstream a long way and then come back downstream on a hill country stream that ends in Junction. So that's a tough one. But in August. And but anyway, Hoyt is here. Hoyt, where you at? He's going for his 20th finish this year. Hoyt, put that race on. Thanks a lot.
Real quick, I've been handed a note of if you were boat number 1346, 1973, or 1986, or 4747, your spots haven't been registered or aren't tracking. See Jeff over there after the race briefing. This race wouldn't be possible or successful if it wasn't for all the volunteers. And I quickly just want to point some of the key officials out just so team captains know who to locate if they have any questions. As always, he's back again this year. We have Robin Reeves as our race chairman. Robin, raise your hand. Our board members are myself, Alan Spells, Bob Spain, Jerry Cochran, Jay Daniel, and Harvey Babb, who's already down at Seadrift. If you have any questions after the race, come see us. If you've got any issues or anything positive, actually, to say, come talk to us as well. Our head race judge has done it before and has raced the race a long time, is Vance Sherrard. Vance, you want to raise your hand? There he is, right over there. So if you have a rules infraction, any kind of issue with the checkpoint or rules, Vance is the one that will handle that. Director of Search and Rescue. We tried this last year. We divided up the search directors. We have one for the bay and one just for the river to focus on the river. So covering all of the river is Daryl right there. And he's our search director for the river, and he's assembled 3 really good teams. I would highly encourage you, if you are not ever racing, to volunteer to be a search team. That is probably one of the most critical areas that we need help in for the race. And so if you're not going to race next year, and it can be last minute's notice, just get in contact with the Texas Water Safari. In the bay, he gets to sit down there, and they've all been awesome. If Henry or Joe, are y'all here, Henry, Joe? If you get pulled, there's Joe right there. It's really important to keep the spots operational. Okay? If Joe or Henry ask your team to pull over to reset the spot, you have to pull over to reset the spot. Sometimes we'll notify the team captain at the next checkpoint, make sure the spot has been reset and is functioning. If you don't pull over and reset your spot, we're going to issue a time penalty that will be more than it took 5 minutes or 2 seconds to reset your spot. So make sure you listen to those guys. It makes our job a lot easier if everybody's working together. One of everybody's favorites, social media, Patty Geisinger. And our Texas Water Safari race photographer who flew in from California, Ashley Landis. Some of our volunteers have been around a long time and they keep coming back, and we love them for it. We've got Joy in South Spain handling staples. We've got Mr. Luling, Chuck Truesdale at Luling 90. We've got Ken Thigpen, I think, going on, I can't remember what year, 18, 19 years, something like that, at Palmetto. We've got Jerry Nunnery. He handled Gonzales 183. And while I've got you there on this, it is not Gonzales 183. I'm old school. It is Gonzales Dam is the new checkpoint for that. It's going to be really critical at Gonzales Dam for team captains not to set up and block the actual portage around. We're not going to allow vehicles down to the dam. You're going to have to park up on top and carry down. We are also encouraging teams not to sleep at Gonzales Dam. Go down to Gonzales 183. We're going to have an official down there as well, and go ahead and sleep down there. It'll be a lot quieter and easier to sleep as well. So This is new for Gonzales Dam. We were having issues over the last few years. Teams were getting water there. Team captains were forgetting to go down to 183 to sign out. Or teams, because of the river left, all the fast water, teams were bypassing and we couldn't get boat numbers, and it just became an issue. So we're hopefully simplifying things for us and team captains. Hoheim, we got Sam Petey. He's going to be back again this year. He's done it dozens of years. Quero 766, West Slaughter and Bodwin Slaughter. They've already left, but they've been doing that checkpoint on and off for 30 years as well. We've got Tony Cuba at 236, Santiago Marquin at Victoria City Park, and Steve and Gloria Reagan at the Swinging Bridge checkpoint. And if you're an official or TC, you know that place is a party. So it's fun down there. And watch where you're stepping. They like to put out fake snakes and alligators, which I don't find humorous. Tivoli, Highway 35. That is the new checkpoint. Saltwater barrier is no longer. So I'm thinking this may become a permanent solution for future races. They're doing construction engineering work on the saltwater barrier, but it's such a hassle and so far out of the way to get there, 2 gates to drive through, dirt road. So if it works out well at the Calhoun's RV Park, we'll probably keep it there years going forward. Seadrift, Bill Sanders County Park. Everybody will know that. We'll hopefully have a flashing beacon going for you all to see coming across the bay. All right, I'm going to have Bob Spain come up here and talk a little bit about the Brad Allis Award and the Hall of Fame plaque and a couple of other things.
Okay, if you're new to the race, and Alan mentioned a couple of new changes, we do have driver's guides up here that give you that new information. So if you don't know what he was talking about, you need to get one before you get away from here. I neglected to mention earlier also that Jennifer Boogie brought a lot of good swag from Texas A&M Horticulture Services. So we want to thank her for that as well. This year is the 60th year of the water support. It's been held every year except COVID year. We didn't hold it, but there's no other race in the nation that can claim that long-term number of starts over the nations. It's about the third longest running annual ultramarathon race in North America. It started in 1963, and 2 guys had paddled down the river from San Marcos the previous year, and it took them 20 days and 8 hours. And they had a motorboat with no motor, but they paddled it, rowed, and used sails and finished it. And then oddly enough, the next year, they decided to create the water support in 1963. And it's been held every year since except 2020. Over the years, about 7,983 people have attempted the race. But being one of the most difficult races in North America, only 5,237 have finished, which is about 66%. And that's the lowest finishing rate about any race I can think of. And you that have done the race know why. Over the years, men have dominated the race, but the numbers keep coming up, as Alan mentioned. In the first race, we had only 1 lady, and the recent race, I think he said 47. But overall average, 90% of the men do the race, and 10% of the women, that's the finishers. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame. This plaque right up here, you see, has all the people that have done the race at least 10 times. And in 2012, we decided to create the Hall of Fame. Oddly enough, we wanted to ask everyone who had done at least 10 completions to be on the plaque, and on 50th year, 50 people had done at least 10. Since that time, we added to the plaque at different levels. Those that have done 10, less than 20. Those that have done 20, less than 30. Those that have done 30. And then John Boogie decided to do 40, so I had to make a new plaque down here for John. He's done it 43 times. So, we want to induct a few new people. Alan, if you want to go over and make sure they sign. We've got a raffle item up here that we'd like to get as many signatures as we can from those who are in the Hall of Fame. And we have 6 new people and then a new person that is also made another level. So if you'll come up when I mention your name, Alan will present you with a marble plaque, and we'd like you to sign this raffle out. The first person would be Joe Geisinger. Joe, are you here? Sure he must be. Joe first finished the race in 2011. He won the standard in 2017, and he won the aluminum in 2022 with his daughter Libby. He's also raced with his daughter Mary, and in 2017 in the standard canoe. Is Joe here?
He's coming.
Here he comes. Okay.
He had to.
While
be
Joe's
as
coming
far
up,
at the back as he could.
Morgan Cohut. Is Morgan here? Morgan first finished the race in 2010. She also finished in 2012, 2013, and 2016, which time she won the women's class. In 2019, she won the solo, and in 2019, I'm sorry, 2000 different year. In 2019, she won the women's unlimited in a 4-person boat. They set the record, 37 hours, and I believe 31 minutes, 4th overall, and that's the record for women. Morgan, is she here?
She's already done.
The next person I want to recognize is Virginia Parker. She finished her first safari in 2010. She won the women's class in 2011, and again in 2012, 2013, and 2015. She won the women's solo in 2016, and she was part of that record team in 2019 that I just mentioned that set the women's record. Ian Rawls, come on up, Ian. First finished the safari in 2011. He's been an overall winner 6 times. 2014, 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2022. He's raced mixed in 2021 and won the class with his daughter, who's only 13 years of age, Adelaide. Is she here? I know she is. Raise your hand. There she is. Is William Russell. I haven't seen William. I don't know if he's here today. I haven't seen him. William Russell. Anyway, William finished his first safari in 2005. He won the novice class. And over the next 17 years, he raced 8 times, winning the race 5 times overall. So we'll get that to him later. And Mila Weber. Mila? First finished in 2006. Over the next 16 years, she raced 4 different classes in mixed, unlimited, mixed tandem, and solo, women's solo. And she competed in her 10th safari in a 5-person boat in 73 hours and 52 minutes. And there's quite a story to that one, but I don't have time to talk about it. And we're going to recognize again someone that also has written a book, and there's a poster about it here. And that's Bill Stafford. Bill, where are you at? He's done it. He first did it in 1984. He's won C2 6 times in 1990, 91, 92, 2015, 2011, 21, and 2022. And last 2 was with his son Brandon, and he's won the standard in 2017 with Brandon as well. He's done it 30 times. I want to shift gears for a moment now and talk about the Brad Ellis Award. In 2012, unfortunately, while it was a festive occasion, 50th year of the water safari, we had a young man who lost his life. Only 30 years of age. He was racing with a very expensive racer, but he fell out of his boat, and we had to life flight him to San Antonio. He had a condition which is known as hyponatremia. It's when you flush all of the salt out of your body. It's kind of drowning in water, I guess you could say. And they tried to revive him, put him in a heated suit, but he passed away. But we didn't want his memory to disappear, so the Water Sport Board created the Brad Ellis Spirit Award. And on an annual basis, if we get good recommendations, and I have some entry forms here that you can come up and take, but basically we ask for any team captain, person observing the race, or a member that sees an extraordinary act of sportsmanship that someone does, rescuing another person and so forth. We would like to nominate that person. If you see something happen that's extraordinary from a team captain and a team member, if you want to submit no more than 150 words to a team official to get to the board where we will award the Brett Ellis Award. This is the plaque right here. And some years we don't even award it. If we don't have something significant, we're not going to award it. But I believe one year we actually awarded to 4 different teams that rescued people or did something extraordinary. So there is some forms up here, but basically we just need something handwritten in about 150 words if you have a recommendation you'd like to make. And the last thing I want to say is every year everybody, I think, likes to hear the information. I mentioned a while ago about 5,200 people have finished this race. If you add up all the miles that those people that have finished, and we'll just use 260, even though that's short because the first 8 years it was longer, it would be 1 million people that finished that paddled the race. It would be 1,361,000 miles. Now, to put that in perspective, that's equal to paddling around the equator of the globe 55 times. Or going to the moon 5.5 times. So, anyway, I thought it was kind of a neat bit of information. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bob. I do want to mention the Brett Ellis Award on helping people. We're talking about, a medical issue, physical, they're having problems, not stopping to help somebody unwrap their boat so they can keep paddling. Okay, so it's more of a medical issue where somebody needs help, or it could be somebody broken down, a team captain, another team captain helps out somebody else broken down the road. So that's kind of the range we're looking at. Moving on. All right, before we go into the rules of race course, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items and rule changes. I want to remind racers and their team captains that you enter the race at your own risk, and the Texas Water Safari Corporation, its race officials, checkpoint officials, and sponsors are not liable for accidents to personnel, meaning your health and safety, or damage to any property or equipment during the race. If you feel that you have a medical emergency, call 911. Also notify the nearest checkpoint official or race official. If we lost a search boat, I want to remind folks we only rescue people, not boats. And also I want to mention, just that they may go over a little bit, the race briefing. A lot of times we've gotten calls from racers who called a race official and said, hey, how far am I from the checkpoint? That's requesting assistance or aid. You're disqualified. So you can communicate with your team captain, but don't communicate with the race officials. The other issue we've had in the past, but it hadn't happened lately, just simple things. People gotten in the bay and celebrate, fire off a flare. It's a call for aid. You're disqualified. So be thinking what you're going to do. If a team captain calls in and has been talking to the team, and the team says, oh, John's throwing up and he's sick, I think he looks really bad, and the team captain's on the bank, starts to panic and says, I've got a sick member, we need to help them, we need to get help. Y'all come paddling in, you feel great, you're recovered, you threw everything up, you're ready to move on. That team captain will request aid or help, you're disqualified. So make sure you're staying well coordinated with your team captain and race officials, and so there aren't any issues during the race. Make sure you know what row you're on. You should have a row list in your racer's packet. The row numbers are marked along the bank on the river right. You can start putting in the water at 8 a.m. I suggest you start putting in, go in, cool off, chill out, so you're not rushed at 8:45 when 75 boats are trying to be put in. If you're still having issues with spots, talk to Jeff. You can leave your boat here overnight. We will have a security guard here overnight. The security guard will be patrolling the area, but he will not be patrolling for raccoons, so don't leave any food in your boat. Please pick up trash along the race course. The trash cans at checkpoints are there for your use, but if you see one overflowing, please haul your trash into town. Respect private property. If you don't have permission, don't enter. Jerry has a couple of little things he wants to say about morning. Jerry, go real quick.
Yeah, I neglected to mention that there are books for sale over here, and the prophets do go to the water safari. Many of you people are in the book, and you probably already know that. But I also wanted to mention that we are doing a few special awards this year, and you might have seen them on our website. We decided on the 60th year, the 60th boat that crosses the finish line, if that happens to be you, you get an award. If you're the 60th person that goes across the finish line as well, you'll get an award. If you're the 60th boat closest to 60 hours, you'll get an award. If you're the first person, man and woman, that's 60 or more crossing the finish line, you'll get an award. I talked to John Mark, and he's in a boat, he's in the stern. He said, wait a minute, I'm in the back. Pete's in the front, he's over too. I might just stop and get him to switch places with me so I can get the award. But anyway, have fun out there.
Real quick, there's 4 boats that still haven't done all their spot registration. 1346, are y'all here?
Right there.
1973, 1986, and 4747. After the briefing, get with Jeff and get your spots done. Also, there's a few boats that still need to either sign a waiver or finish completing their registration. Boat 514, 561, 807. I wonder who that could be. And 1929 and 3001. So after the briefing, if you would get with the officials and finish signing everything there. Real quick, tomorrow morning the buses start at 6. Please, there's not going to be any more parking tomorrow than there is today, so try and use the shuttles if you can. If you got to drop somebody, swing back around and catch the shuttle. So we got to keep the roads open for the emergency vehicles, so we need to do all that. Also down at Cottonseed Rapids, the Perkins family's letting everybody come in there again and watch the race go by. There will be no parking inside their gate, but along the roadway is legal to park, but you can't park where it blocks the vehicles. There'll be 2 officers there, so just be aware of that. Try to get out of the way and park as far off the side of the road as you can. The Martindale Police will be patrolling, so heads up on that one. Staples. We don't have as much room in Staples for parking again. We lost the field that some people had parked in. So it's going to be all along the sides of the road. And there'll be another little parking right there at Spencer's Canoes. They've been their sponsor. That little cabin, there's parking right there by it. So be sure and try to make as much room as you can. Try to park where you can get as many vehicles in there as you can. Yes. Yeah, there's no overnight parking here, so don't. Most people now I think know that you can't leave a vehicle in any of these parking lots. It'll be towed. So, real quick down at Palmetto, no permit is required for team captains or race officials since we have the whole park reserved. If you are just a spectator, they expect you to pull in there, either use a self-pay and pay your $3 or get a permit. And then, before Jay takes over here. Oh, and at Palmetto, there is parking on both sides of the river. We have the group campsite on the river left. So before you get to the bridge, you can turn and go down in there. There's some parking there, so it's not as congested across the way. And then in the morning, for the lake portage, boats can start getting in the water at 8 o'clock. And so the gate will be open. You can put in there. The dam will be marked off. There's some wild rice and some other endangered species stuff. We cannot go to the left. So the center of the dam, and there'll be officials, and there's flagging tape down there watching. You have to go on the right side of the dam as you're approaching it, and there'll be an official there. So make sure you do not go through that moss or try to get into the left channel. That's where the rice is. And also, if you want to, there's a gray dock on the right side right there by Kirby Lane. People have taken out there and portaged around the building, and that is legal as well. So just be careful down there and watch the rice on the left. Don't go that way. And that's about it.
Okay.
Please hold on. If we have a little technical difficulties, we'll reestablish that in just 2 minutes.
Hello. All right, it's working now. Got it working. All right. Also want to mention Palmetto is a pretty crazy spot. There are no boats allowed to stay on the bridge. You have to get water and go. If you're going to stay and sleep overnight, you need to pull up your boat up and park it up on top to stay and sleep. If really crowded, we also recommend just having only team captains on the bridge. I'm sure all of you've seen Palmetto. There's no real danger there. It's you can paddle under left or right the bridge. Jump out, waist steep, don't panic. Grab the stern of your boat and pop it up on the bridge. Rules. I think everybody knows that two-way communication device is required. Snake bite kit, flares, personal flotation device. All inflatables are not allowed. No inflatables in the race. If you're in the bay and you're not wearing a life jacket and you finish or you don't wear one in the bay, period, it's a 2-hour penalty. All teams are required to carry spot trackers. Just kind of FYI, we're looking at some new systems for tracking teams. We're going to be testing this year and next year. They've come out with a lot of apps, tracking devices on phones, and so we're looking at it. We're going to test that and maybe getting away from the spots to go to a phone app for tracking. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of, and we still got some issues we got to work out with that, like charging your phone, keeping it up, carrying battery packs and stuff like that. But looking at it, it looks like it'll be a lot easier and a lot more efficient for teams and officials. Team captains, we highly recommend you have two. It's especially for the big boats. Over the years, we have so many people, especially down around the Hoheim area. It's late at night. 18-wheelers are going 85 miles per hour. We are going to have a police officer down there flashing his light to hopefully slow down traffic on that road for the team captains and their crews. Play cards in you've got those little cards for the team captains and boat numbers and all that. Please keep them on your dash. That's really important. If we need to locate a team captain in case there's an issue and you're sleeping in your car, we're not pounding on a bunch of cars, we can find you pretty easy. Or at a hotel. We see this a lot every year, and I don't know how we're going to handle it, but typically, we're seeing more and more teams. Some of the newer teams, they have a tendency to like to get in a team captain's car with the AC running, jump in a tent or a cot or something like that. Vance is going to be watching that, and we're probably going to have to, we thought about even instituting maybe some areas where we actually rope off at checkpoints in the future where this is where you're required to eat or sleep, and then going downstream. I know you can go downstream and do whatever you want, we'll never know. But, a lot of this race is on honesty and integrity of the race itself. That's it for rules. Race course. Yep. Yeah, I'll mention real quick. It's an issue every year. Please beware of the big boats. We've got like 30 plus unlimited boats. So the big boats in Spring Lake, they can't move. They're going fast. They can't turn. So please avoid any big boats that you can. I'd hate for somebody, and it's happened before, actually, in the first 10th of a mile of the 260-mile race, they get their boat speared and they're out of the race. And so just watch out for big boats, and they're going to try to watch out for you, but there's not a lot they can do in Spring Lake. Yeah, it's your team's responsibility. If you're a solo and you're trying to get over because you see a lane, it's your boat as a responsibility to avoid going in front of that big boat. Okay, it's kind of line. We'll have officials along Spring Lake to watch and monitor, and we try to video it as well. We have 11 checkpoints. The first being Staples. They all have cutoff times. You're expected to know those. Mentioned saltwater barriers moved. All inflatable life jackets are illegal. Jerry J, y'all have anything you want to mention about the race course that I missed? Ralph Club?
Mandatory portage left.
Okay, that's a good point. And I'm sure everybody's seeing it, that the log jams down there below the swinging bridge, the recommendation is if you have not seen it, portage left, get on the Jeep road and go around it. It's all of our rescues, for some reason, always occur on River Right. So it's just easier to get that way, get down there, get around them, and get to sea drift. I think it's going to be a great race. I'm excited. Last year we had less than 50% finish. Let's beat that. See everybody in sea drift for some catfish and shrimp.
If you want a team photos, I'm heading over there now. Team photos at the trailer. Thank you for tuning in, and we will have lots of live streams tomorrow. Welcome back to Spring Lake. This is the end of the check-in meeting, finish for the Texas Water Safari, 60th annual. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Sorry for the technical difficulties.